Bye. Cool. Perfect. So today we have got Mona, who is going to be on our podcast. And Mona's journey has been like so inspiring, to like where she started to where she's at now, which obviously we'll go through in lots of detail. But if it's okay, Mona, I'll get you to like introduce yourself to everyone and say a little bit about yourself. And yeah, we'll take it from there, if that's okay.
Thank you, Ruchita. My name is Mona Patel. I'm a 56-year-old mother of twins who are now 22. My weight loss journey actually started a couple of years ago, September 2021. And it just started off chance. I didn't really have any idea how or when I was going to start this journey. It just meant that I met up with a good friend of mine, a very close friend of mine who has met Ruchita. She was going through her own weight loss journey. And subsequently, I just had this weight that was creeping up. At that time, I thought it was menopause, and this is what happens to all menopausal women, weight goes up. But now, after all my education with Ruchita, she's been teaching me a lot of things. It wasn't actually at all to do with menopause, it was just my lifestyle. So as I said, I started 2021, September, and now here I am, fitter, better. I've lost a bit of weight, quite a bit of weight, actually. And overall, I feel very, very good, mentally and physically, which is really, really important to me.
Yeah. And it's just amazing actually to see, you know, how a lot of the time we think it can be like hormone related and things like that. But sometimes, like, you know, when someone puts like a bit of a mirror up towards us to say, okay, well, what are you eating? What are you drinking? You know, how active are you? And things like that. Because generally you've actually always been quite active, haven't you? Like, you know, you do yoga, Pilates, tennis. So it's not that you're ever someone who just sits still, if you don't mind me saying. Like, you're always doing something, aren't you? Like before you started as well.
Absolutely. I was quite a sort of active person. I mean, I played tennis once a week. I had Pilates once a week and yoga twice a week. So, and the days that I wasn't doing anything with someone, I was actually walking. But I think what it was I would do an hour of training, and then the rest of the day would be a sedentary lifestyle, which meant that really I was just constantly just sitting or standing in my profession. And then I was just eating more. So it wasn't mindful of what I was eating. There's any snacks, you know, it was just going in my mouth. And even though I was active, I noticed that my weight wasn't shifting at all. It was going upwards. And that was just the biggest concern as to, well, I'm pretty fit. I'm doing all these exercises, and why isn't it moving? And you know, now I realize why it is moving.
And it's always just good just to have that education behind it all, I think, as well, because I don't know if you'll actually remember one thing that I really resonated with me, that when you said you know, like at work, because like, you know, being in a pharmacy essentially, you know, you were saying that sometimes you have to give like weight loss advice to people, and I remember you saying, oh, I feel a little bit uncomfortable like giving this advice to people, like, and this was at the beginning of your journey. And obviously, like, as we know, like the advice that you would be advised to give will be more like kind of following the standards that like the NHS suggest and things like that. But hopefully you know, like from the journey, there's so much more to just like food and calories. It's a whole host of things, isn't it? With like
absolutely. Quite right. I mean, if you're going to a healthcare professional, you really want them to lead by example. So, you know, if I came to you, Ruchi, then you had, you know, not the best teeth, then I would, you know, it's the best dentist to go to. The same thing with us as pharmacists. I mean, you know, and with the 4 stores that I own, I go to quite a different varied group of our population. And really, you need to lead by example. I mean, if you're overweight and you're trying to tell someone, look, you need to lose weight, you need to have a healthy lifestyle, exercise, you need to have this moderate amount of exercise in a week, you're not doing any of the above, then they're really not going to be, you know, listening to you at all. So I mean, that was one thing that I really thought, you know, I'm going to give them advice. What am I doing myself? I'm not doing anything. So, you know, it's really important that I think you need to lead by example. I mean, typically like you've got so much energy that you're giving actually, you know, you give that energy to us, even if we don't see each other face to face, you can just literally feel it when I'm WhatsApping you or whatever. So it's important that lead by example is that that you're doing that so that the other person realizes.
Yeah. And I think as well, like for me, when I've like seen how the changes in your photos and your journey, I actually feel like you look a lot younger than before when you started. And I don't know if you remember, I was saying that, I think it was either your like Instagram or your Facebook photo. And I remember like, because you'd written something in the group. And I was like, oh my gosh, you look a lot older in your old photo. And then you were saying actually, like, even like Tanisha was like, change your photo, like modernize it. And it's so interesting again, like, a lot of the time we can maybe focus on like scale weight and things like that. But actually, like, I find like the face actually really shows, how things are going a lot more. And just like, as you said, your energy levels and things like that as well. So it's
absolutely, Ruchita. I mean, at our age, I mean, I'm certainly after postmenopausal, and that's what I'm sort of labeled as. I think fitness is really important. And when you start doing the fitness exercises that, for example, but for me, particularly my age, I mean, you can definitely see the difference in your body, your shape. And initially, for me, weight loss was all scale, and it was nothing to do with measurements. And I think that was, again, another digression. You're always just sitting on top of the scales and seeing it's not shifting. Well, okay, it's not shifting, that's fine. But I mean, you're not looking at your waist measurement. And now, as you know, healthcare professionals, you have to measure your waist, and you need to make sure that it's a certain inches. Otherwise, you're prone to other high risk diseases. So, I mean, that was really important. And also the fact that you've put in all this fitness regime for me. The weights. I mean, at our age, we really need to make sure we have weight-bearing exercises. If we don't do that, then we're high risk of osteoporosis. Cardiovascular risk as well. We're same risk as any men my age as well. So, the certain exercises, even though I was doing yoga and Pilates, they weren't strength building exercises as such. So it's really important to know the type of exercises to do.
Yeah. And especially like with your body, just seeing how like the change in like muscle mass and things like that, because as you know, like with like the risk of osteoporosis is so high. And what I tend to find is like, in the elderly population, a lot of the time they may just, someone may pass away because of like a hip replacement operation or like something with their knees, and then they can't walk, and then like muscle wastage and things like that. So that's why it's so like, I've always loved like every time you do your workout, you always upload all your videos. And every time I'm like, wow, like, Mona's got stronger, she's really taken this on board, and you always want to do it perfectly. And that's what I really love. I can always see you're concentrating, and you really put that time towards your workout. It's not that you'll then be doing something else or multitasking. It will be like, no, this is my time. Ruchita's done my like workout plan, I'm going to follow it, and I'm going to execute each and every move. And I think that has been a game changer in actually seeing the changes in your body as well, because your focus is there, and you always just want to make sure it's spot on the way you're doing it, and the tempo, the speed. And I know sometimes I may have given you some exercises that may feel a bit like, like the leg press machine, and you're like, oh my God, why does she still keep this in? And I'm like, because I know it's going to help build muscle in like every area, keep it efficient and things like that. So for me, it's just been great to see. And if you're also happy to kind of share like how you started, like when we were first kind of doing our training, because obviously going to the gym, it wasn't something that you ever really thought of. So it'd be nice for you to kind of share that side with everyone as well, if that's okay.
So the fitness regime, which you set initially, and you've put in so much effort. So number one, there is no way I could have done it half-heartedly, because you put in so much effort. So it's unfair that we do it at 30%. You have to give it your 100. So we started off with weights, and that was, again, something completely new to me. I've used 1 kilo up to, I think, 1.5 kilo when I was walking, thinking this is weight-bearing exercises, but it's actually nothing. So you started off with weights very gently. I mean, and you introduced me to that, which was really good. And then slowly we progressed to heavy weights. And you could tell quite easily when I was videoing that I could pick up heavier ones. And certainly I couldn't. But now you've taught me that, yes, you can go for the heavier ones, which is what I'm doing now. And then progressively, about a year ago, it must be definitely a year ago, when you said, Mona, let's just try the gym.
Yes.
I thought, oh my God, where is she taking me? Where is this place? Because I've never liked exercising in an enclosed area. It's just not me. So we started off a year ago, and I love it. I really, really enjoy it. And that's why I put this 100%, because I've gone through a little journey myself with losing my parents. And I think this just came at the right time. But the overall concept of the gym workout is just amazing. And you've hit the right workouts for me. You know which ones I enjoy, even though it doesn't look on my face that I'm enjoying it. I really do. And certainly the leg press, that was just a daunting moment because it's just a scary machine, but I've got used to it now, and it's wonderful. And I really enjoy them. And I keep telling my children that, look, this is the best thing. And they've all now joined the gym. So it's something we want to encourage other people using and not shy away from it. So thank you. That was a big game changer on this journey, definitely.
And again, like just seeing how your strength has massively increased as well. Like if you think about, again, like where you started to the weights that you're lifting now, and even then, like it's just so nice to see that you're always making sure you're feeling challenged. It's not like you go to the gym and you're like, oh, I've done a workout, and I'd be like, oh, have you? Like I can't see any changes in yourself, or you know what I mean. But I know, like when you go to the gym and work out, you have worked out. So it's always
I mean, that's all to you, actually, Ruchita. You've taught me that you need to try and go harder, go higher in your weights. And I think if someone doesn't tell me that and doesn't encourage me, then I just stay at the same weights because it's easier. You might as well just do 2 kilos. It's easy. You can get away with it and then just go home after an hour. But if you don't really put in that effort and go higher, it's not always going high, because I do try and tell you, look, I've tried to go higher and it's just not working for me. And you're really good. You'll say, okay, then keep it at that, and then we just increase the reps, which makes a lot of sense.
And it's good just having that feedback as well. And also, like, hopefully, like you would have seen, like I would have eased you into certain exercises, so there'll be some that I would never have given you on like day one, because I just think it would be like a disaster waiting to happen. And then I'll be like, okay, you've actually got that strength, so now we can like build up on it. And what I also love is like when you've been on holiday, you'll always say like the kids will also be working out as well. So I call them kids, so I know they're adults, but how I see them as your children. Sorry if they're listening to me, like but it's really nice, again, like it's just really motivating, like everyone sees your journey, and then it's like that
absolutely. I just think the family then encourage you, and that's part of it. This whole journey is everyone getting together and motivating you. So if I'm not going to the gym, then in the morning my son will come up and say, are you going to the gym? And that just sort of says, well, you go to the gym, basically. And on holiday we'll all take our little gym kits with us in case we're going to do it. But I mean, you set even holiday workouts for me, which is really good. It fits into that whole lifestyle, which very, very, it's very encouraging to know that there's someone who just knows everything about you and how to manage you well.
Which is always, I think, handy, isn't it? Because I like to try and get inside, like into your head and think, even if you send me like a menu for when you're eating out, and I think, okay, food wise, I'm pretty sure like Mona will be fine, but I'm like, okay, we need to talk about like the wine or the champagne, and I'll be like, okay, if we can stick to this amount. And again, it's so nice because you always like track everything as well. And I always just love seeing it because you'll also add like food photos, so it helps me like visualize things. And I think like it was actually quite recently when you tracked like the Bunnahabhain whiskey, and I was like, oh my god, like this is like, it's just quite nice, because I was like, this one's a little bit different. Like normally if you say something and I'm like, oh, it's really nice to actually see what you're having, and then it's helps me get to know you a little bit better. And then Rakesh
I think it's also important that I do track the right things. I mean, I'm not perfect, and you know that, and you're very clever. You always suss it out that something's not going right here. But I try my best to track as much as I can, and it's easier with the new FitnessPal. You can just zap something in and it comes up. But yes, I mean the tracking is again something very new to me. You'd think that you can, if you say 1,500 calories or whatever calories I'm on, you can just put everything down, but if you don't track it accurately, you just won't see the results at the end. So that's something new. I never thought that I would be able to do that. I just thought it was very boring. I'm not going to. I don't have the time. I don't want to track anything. Let's just get on with it.
And to be fair though, I know like when everyone is really busy, it is just that extra job on our list that we've got to like track things. But I just find it just kind of helps us understand our body. It's more like the education side of it, I think, more than anything. But I can't wait for there to be a day where literally if someone eats something, it just like comes onto the app, and then it would just save everyone like a whole load of everything. Right. I think the way AI and things are going,
I know, you never know, it could be the next thing. Exactly.
AI is quite like worrying though. I don't know, I feel a bit
absolutely worrying in every business. I mean, I worry about it in pharmacy as well. I mean, because that could be taken over, and then left with no pharmacists, my profession will be just gone. So I mean, and these young adults use it so much now with their work.
Yeah.
They're thinking, gosh, you know, it is going to be the next thing going. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm still not like very clued up with it, but I've seen people write like their essays with it and things like that. And I'm just like, oh my God, like,
I'm thinking, I keep telling my children, you're going to get caught because this is cheating. You're not supposed to be doing this.
Or everyone will have the same essay. I just don't know how people don't get found out. So yeah, it's always, it'll be really interesting just to see how like actually the next 5 years everything evolves, because as you said, even in pharmacy, like in every industry, but then I wonder then what will people do? Like
that's the thing. This is the thing that's going to be, you know, we're going to have no one in work, actually. Everything's going to be run by robots.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do?
Yeah. Be quite interesting.
We'll be all in the gym working out.
Yeah, that would be my goal. Let's get the AI going. Just keep everyone healthy.
Exactly. So you'll be still in business, not I'll be out of business.
I'll hire you, don't worry. I'll train you.
Great. Okay.
It's all good. And do you actually find as well, like obviously working like in the pharmacy and seeing like so many different types of patients, do you kind of feel like it's quite tough? Because like something that I was talking about to someone the other day is obviously like in the NHS it's so hard for a GP. Like you get given a 10-minute appointment, you get 10 minutes to literally go through everything, and then obviously the easier, well, not the easier thing, I guess what they're advised to do is basically give, like, say if someone's got metformin, you'd give like diabetes, you'd give metformin or something like that. And obviously I know like there are like weight loss management programs which the NHS do, or like diabetes programs, but do you find like when you see like patients come in to get their medication each month, and I don't know, like how do you kind of, what do you think about it all? Because I find it's quite sad, and I just wish that there was a better way for things to be managed. But obviously I know it's a funding thing though as well, so it's
that's right, exactly, that's the big word, funding, which there isn't any of. Yes. I mean, you're quite right. Someone comes in and they have health issues, for example, and you can quite easily tackle it by just educating them. And we do have a lot. I mean, we do have initiatives that are going on, and we have this Healthy 5, which is where you weigh them and you take their blood pressure and your waist and their waist measurements and so forth. But you're absolutely right when it comes to time management, because you just can't do everything. So you do just the surface, and you'll weigh them, and then you'll tell them 5 healthy lifestyles that they should incorporate in their daily life, and then and probably the food that they should eat, and then they'll come back next week and then they'll weigh themselves, and they probably have gone up or down, and that's it. And there's an app that NHS have, which basically you can put in your food and they'll give you some sort of tips and advice. GPs, again, don't have much time, so they'll just signpost you to a weight loss clinic or to a gym where you can get some money off and you can train. But the time is the biggest thing, and if you don't have time, then this sort of service is just not worth it at all. As pharmacists, we just don't have time, because we've got the patients that we want to really look after because they've got issues and we want to educate them. But then we've got the other bits of running the pharmacy where you just can't do everything. So like GPs, I mean, we just have very small, minuscule amount of time, and we can't do it. So you're right, when we waste, the money is quite wasted, but they're sort of devolved it from the Department of Health down to us, but just don't have the time. And it could be used in other ways where that person could benefit more, maybe more into time into the gym where they could see a trainer and a dietitian, and they've got more time. But I think it's all about managing this, and it's quite sad where it's not managed properly, I suppose.
I think it's just really tough though to see sometimes as well. Like I know, like, so obviously like in dentistry as well, like you only see like the same patients and they're still on the same medication, and sometimes it's just giving a simple tip like, you know, going for a walk, like even that's still actually going to help, because I think so many times like we'll think it's literally just exercise or like keeping an eye on our food, but then we know with the food side of things that's actually a lot more detailed than just thinking about like calories, because I know like so many times when I've worked with people as well, they'll think, oh, okay, well, I could have like 2 pizzas a day and I'm in my calorie allowance. And I'm like, no, it's actually about good like nutrition, keeping it balanced, getting vegetables and things like that. But then again, like all of that, you need time to kind of go through with someone. And then it's like, what can someone retain as well with life going on at the same time too?
And the other thing, Ruchita, is some of them are on very low income. So now you have to talk to them with that much amount of money that they've got spare. And they're not going to cut, for example, smoking or their pint of beer. They just want they think a healthy lifestyle is probably eating 2 broccolis and that's it. But it's within that small amount of money they've got. So you have to talk to them with that sort of mindset. That, look, you can go to these places, these have offers, and you can buy some healthy food and try and steer away from takeaway. So that's the sort of people I meet day to day. So it's quite challenging at the end.
And also, actually, a takeaways, they're not that expensive, but like, from a chicken somewhere, I think for like, I don't really know, but I could be saying it wrong. I think for like £2, you can get like a whole meal.
I mean, where I work, you can get a fried chicken and chips for £1.99.
Oh, wow.
You can get a chicken and some broccoli and something else. It's going to cost them over nearly £10.
Yes.
So they're just going to go and just get their chicken and fries for £1.99 and have it with a pint of beer or whatever they're going to have. But that's cheaper than going to the supermarket.
Yeah, and easier as well. It's made for you. You don't need to cook it, and it's it's just so tough though. I think seeing it though as well. But
exactly.
It's just that education side of things.
I mean, you tell them stop smoking so you can save some money, then go and buy some healthy food, but it just doesn't sink in, and you can understand it.
We all have our things that we were happy to spend money on, and then things that we wouldn't really be as well. So I'm sure. I'm thinking that there must be something that I could probably do more of, and I'll be like, maybe I do. So we won't get into that. It's fine. And one thing that I also love is that because you are so into your health as well, you always get your annual health check done, and that always actually really excites me. I know you may be a bit nervous, but I know when I know that you're going to get your bloods done, your DEXA's done, and things like that. I think it was the night before, I literally was like, I really hope Mona's tests go okay, because I felt a bit pressure on me a bit as well, to be
no,
have I coached you correctly? And it's a bit when your child has an exam or something.
Yes, exactly. I know. I can imagine what you're thinking, but no. I mean, you've done the best you can. Now everything's on me. I do my yearly or annual checks, and I was doing that since I was 40 something. It's just something I like doing. At least I have a baseline, and then I know where I'm going. And it's on those health checks, actually, the last 2 or 3 years, where my weight was really creeping up, and my obstetrician and my GP was saying, well, it's going up 2 kilos, and then the following year it's gone up another 2 kilos. And and with every I suppose with these GPs, or the best fix is, well, do you want to go on the slimming drug, the new injections, and you can do that. You can lose 5 kilos and so forth. And being a pharmacist, that's not the right way to do it. But you're right. It's the yearly checks that's a good indicator of how you're doing. The bloods were okay, but again, they're borderline, and you need to do something. So I think yearly checks are really important. At least if you get a baseline, and then you know where you're moving, if it's going upwards or downwards, at least that way you can gauge your health.
And it's always just good to compare it, and a bit like an exam, it makes you want to prepare for it a little bit more as well, doesn't it? So
absolutely, when it's coming up, you're going to be really healthy. But I mean, overall, anyway, it's important that you do your health checks, especially for 50-year-olds, women with the DEXA scans and checking your bone density and so forth.
It's so important. Sorry, just my charger is gonna just. It's been one of those days where in technology sometimes it isn't on my side, so just bear with me. And just out of interest as well, when you've had throughout your journey, have there been any light bulb moments or something where you were like, oh, now that makes sense, or how we were saying you were generally quite active and things like that? Was there something that you were like, okay, so this is without giving too many secrets away, but that this was the game changer moment of just seeing changes in your body? Because as we know, scale weight, we know we're always actually really trained to just focus on the scales. And as hopefully you'll see that when we have our weekly check-in, when we're looking at photos, there'll be some points where photos will look very, very different, but the scale weight will be the same. So it's I don't know if you had a light bulb moment somewhere where something, or
well, actually, funny you asked me that, because Rushil, my son, said this morning, that Mum, you didn't really have any moment as such to say, look, I really need to change my lifestyle, because it didn't really happen that way to me, Ruchita. It just it's gradually going up, and it was at the back of my head that I really had to lose weight. But I've never actually dealt with someone who would be able to take me through this journey. I thought this is going to be one of those journeys where someone's going to make me drink green smoothies every day, and I'm just not going to be able to take this, and I don't want to do it, and therefore, is there a quicker fix? And it went on and on, and then, as I said, I met this friend, but there was never a light bulb moment. Never. It didn't occur to me that something's going wrong. It's only when I go for my health checks, and they said it's creeping up. So I knew I had to do something.
Yeah.
How I was going to do it just didn't really think. It didn't come straight to me. But I suppose it was just that turning point. I'd lost my father. I went to see my mum. I'd put on another 2 kilos. So I was the heaviest then. And when I came back, and when I spoke to this close friend of mine, and I thought, let me just try Ruchita. I mean, let's see, is it going to be the green smoothies? And then I'll say, no, I don't want to deal with her. Or is it going to be something else? And you totally changed it. You said, you can have all your favorite food. You can have your glass of wine. We can put all that together and let's do it. And then I haven't looked back. So as such, it wasn't anything that triggered me off straight away. It was just gradual. And I think maybe it was my dad trying to tell me, because he's the biggest healthcare fanatic. He always said, lose weight, eat slowly, do this, go for your walks. And I suppose that was it. But nothing really that was that pinnacle moment that changed it straight away.
Yeah.
But I think it's the weight was going up. So at some point I had to decide. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think also it's so hard, when there is a lot going on in life, like what, you're very busy with everything. So sometimes it can feel like, oh, well, how can I put more time into doing something like this? Yeah. But I think what was really nice is because like, I'd like to hope it was a similar kind of lifestyle like what your dad would have been like encouraging you to have as well. So it wasn't, again, like anything too drastic. Everything that I think I was hopefully suggesting, you're like, oh yeah, like he also did the same. So.
And both of them, even my mom, and while she was on her oxygen mask, she'd take it off and say, have you done your steps? And then put it back on again. And it was this, both of them, you could tell that they really wanted me to have a healthier lifestyle. And I think now it's important that you put that time aside. I know a lot of us, all of us, in fact, we are so busy, we just don't have the time.
Yeah.
But we do have the time, actually. We can find the time, and it's important we put it away. I just feel that if we leave it too late, then it's so much more difficult. And that's probably what's happened to me. I left it that late. And to go back to a weight that you really feel you should be, it just takes that much longer. But I mean, any time is a good time to start, as long as, we're going the right direction, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people will think, oh, it's too late. It's I can't put the time towards it. But I think as well, like when we actually do these things, I feel like it actually buys you back a bit more time, because then you're not stressing about other things, a lot more productive, a lot more energy. And like, I'll be honest, if I didn't exercise or eat well, I don't think I'd have all this energy or like positivity. I think I'd just be very like in a slump and, like things like that. Like the amount of stuff I can get done in a day, I think it's only because of eating good food or like exercising. And
but also you've got a very good mindset as well, Ruchita, because not everyone, I mean, you could have a lot of coaches who could just either and I've come across a lot of them who've trained me just in yoga and that, who can be just completely put you off the journey you want to go. So you have to find the right person, really, and someone who can really motivate you, who knows exactly everything about you, and then leads it in the right direction. So that's important. And then energy, it's important. You need that energy, because whenever you give a message, it's got so much energy in it. So there's no way you can't do that. You have to do it.
That's good to know. So at least I know what to keep up with them as well. But I think like also from my point of view, I am like so passionate about it. And I think, when I see like that you're putting so much hard work into it, seeing the changes in your body, like seeing just everything improve, I just get even more excited. So it gives me more energy to then give out. And I'm just like, this is like never ending, essentially.
No, that's the right word. It's passion. You really need to have the passion. And not many people do. I mean, those who want to go on this coaching, what you're doing, Ruchita, you need to have the passion. I mean, otherwise you're just not going to be able to do it, because you've got so many different people to deal with. Yeah. So
that's true. Yeah. I wish I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I had the same passion for dentistry. Like I like it within reason, but I think, when it's been like 12 years or so since I've qualified, and it's you just feel like sometimes on autopilot a little bit. But
absolutely, I feel like that exactly now. And I'm 32 years qualified, and I'm thinking, now that's it. I just don't want to do it anymore. I keep telling my husband, when are we going to sell these pharmacies? Because that drive is now gone, and you want to do other things. And this is exactly what I want to do. I want to train. I want to eat healthy. And that's what I really enjoy doing now. So
And I think also like you're always rubbing off on like your friends as well, or even actually if like, you know, say I remember once you were saying that you walked somewhere and that they may get a taxi. And again, like it's not like you forced your lifestyle onto them. You're like, okay, well, I'm actually going to do my own thing. I'm going to walk. I'll see you there in the taxi. And I was like, that's amazing. So a lot of the time, like we may feel like, oh, we've all got to be together, but you knew that you were still going to be eating with them. It's just you didn't have to travel with them to eat.
Absolutely. And I do that when I go away with my family, and they all know that I'm going to make them walk. Mum needs her steps in, and they're all complaining that they're going to break their legs when they go abroad because they're all made to walk. But then they're all given the choice. They can take the cab if they want to, but just let me do my own things, because Ruchita will check my steps at the end.
And you know, like, I'll be impressed. I'm like, oh, okay. Or like,
one day you might just let me go, but I think you'll get back on track.
I've got to be like, very realistic though as well. Like, exactly. And I think as well, like, again, like seeing how far you've come, like with your water target. And I know like that has been not your favorite thing, if you don't mind me saying, but again, like you've always taken it on board because you'll know the benefits for it. And it's just, again, like so nice and really like, more exciting for me when I know that if I'm saying something, you'll always be like, okay, I know she's saying it for my benefit. It doesn't really affect me if you have it or not.
Absolutely. And that's the whole thing. This whole journey is about our benefit at the end. I mean, you're guiding us, and if you tell us to drink 2 liters of water, it's only for our benefit. And again, it's a mindset. You know, I don't like water. You've given me lots and tools. You've given me so many advices on how to drink the water. Now, I think you've completely exhausted your list, and it's all up to me now. So the bottle you've sent me somehow has given me the right concept of drinking that 2 liters and a bit more. I just feel like drinking from that bottle. So it's my favorite bottle, and it's just worked at the moment. But you're right, you know, you're giving us tools all the way, and we need to implement them now. It's nothing you can do really at the end.
Yeah. And I think you've just made it a lifestyle truly as well, which is so nice. Like this is now you. You'll never look back to like where you were and things like that. And that's for me, I know, okay, I've done my like, you know,
no, that's right. And you put in so much effort, and I've, you know, in my head, this is a lifestyle change. It's not a 2-year change or a 3-year. This is going to be for the rest of my life, and I want to start doing that. So, you know, everyone going on this journey has to realize, even if you get to a target weight, whatever it is, it's just, again, numbers. This is all a lifestyle change, and for the benefit for the person.
Yes, definitely. Because something I was thinking like the other day is, you know, like so many times that things that are actually good for us, no one ever like wants to really do it, because it's never going to be that exciting. We always want to take the path of least resistance, because as human beings, that's just what we do.
We are, exactly.
But I do just wish that a lot of like places where we eat out and things like that, like the go-to will always be like a sandwich or a really you know, it's like they're trying to sabotage us a little bit with like the choices that you have available on the go, because it's never going to be something like if you think about the ratio of how many options you can have, it may be like one thing, and maybe they'll call it a salad and, you know, make a big deal out of it. But even then, the salad won't be as as it could be.
All this, they need to make the most profit, so they need to put in whatever they can. Try to make it look healthy or whatever it is, and then for at the end, we just need to plan it well. And like you said, and you said it so well to me initially, and this is, you know, I was eating out 2 or 3 times, and you were telling me at one point, you said, Mona, it has to be 2, not more. And even though you pre-warned me that the feedback is going to be a little brutal, I knew this was the right thing, because quite rightly, if we're going to eat 3 times, regardless of how many calories they put at the end of that menu, it's not correct. And you'll think we're trying to balance, you know, whatever we are told to eat in that menu. It's not possible. We have to try and eat at home as much as possible, at least, you know, be in control.
And I think that's the thing as well. It can be quite misleading, can't it? Like you look on a menu, and even the other day when I was checking a menu for someone, I think it was like probably a Pizza Express menu. So it said a typical person should have like maybe 2,000 calories. And then a pizza was like 1,400. A drink was like 400. A dessert was 800. A starter was 900. And I was like, I know they've done that disclaimer, but actually you've got to then do the maths on it. And also how accurate is this?
How accurate is it? And I think that for them, it's just a matter of putting some sort of digits next to the recipe, and then that ticks off whatever they have to have, but it's not accurate at all. And you're right, you need to be really, really mindful. Plan, that was another thing you've taught me, plan. So that's what we do. We always plan before we go out. Where are we going? So it's important that we do that, and it has to carry on.
And I think it just makes life a lot easier. And then again, like when we then have that weekly checkpoint, it's not then like any disappointment. Like we always know what will happen, and I quite like things to be predictable. And that's why even like if you've got like a heavy weekend of social, sometimes we'll even do like 2 check-ins to be like, okay, let's just see how things are going. And it's like not in an obsessive way, but just to be like, okay, let's just learn how we manage this.
Mona, check in on Friday because I know your weekends are really heavy. And then Sunday comes up and I've got crying emojis saying, Ruchita, what's happened to me?
And I'm like, well, on Friday it was okay. So like, what the 2 days can do. Kind of.
Exactly.
Because that's the thing, like we don't realize actually eating out, or like even once or twice, especially like, if we have like a tasting menu and then a wine pairing with it, again, like we don't realize what impact that can have in such a short space. And someone may think, oh, I only had 1 meal out, but it's insane what that 1 meal can actually do to the body. But obviously comes back down very quickly though as well. But
but I mean, you have to be mindful when you go back home that you can't continue doing that. So
Oh, that's so amazing. And has there been like any so what I've asked on like to other people, because I always like to keep it quite like honest and quite real, like were there any down points in your journey that you just thought, oh, do you know what, I don't want to do this, like what is going on? Like have you had any of, and then we'll obviously go to the positives afterwards.
Well, I mean, I think every journey has the slumps, and particularly in mine, I think it was because of my busy schedule during the week. We've planned the workouts, and then I've got the socials, and then you think, how am I going to manage this? The workouts are really important to me, and then I have to go to work, and then I come back and I've got a social, and then I'm on this journey and it's just not working. So I'm thinking, this is just not going to work for me. I think, I'll have to just pause it, try and clear whatever I've got on my diary, clear the socials and come back to it again. But that's I suppose that will be that's times when you think, God, this is just not going to work. Am I doing the workouts the best I can, or am I just rushing it and then I'm going to work? So you have those moments, but I think you need to then set your mind back and try and look further and say, look, the goal is there. You really need to keep up with it. You know where you're going, and move on. And there's always going to be points where you just, I mean, who wants to go to the gym 4 times a week or 5 times? I mean, it's not, it's something that, I mean, I've just literally learned about the gym in the last year. So you do have moments where you think, I don't want to go. I want to sit at home and I want to clear everything in my diary. But then the little voice turns up and says, no, you must go and you must do what you're supposed to be doing. And that's your lifestyle. And this is how it's supposed to. So it's managing. I think that's the only time when I feel, when I've got too much on my schedule, that I feel it's just not going to work out, and I've got a social. That's the only time I feel. Otherwise, not really. I love it. I really love this journey.
Oh, so glad. And I think that's the thing as well, like just knowing that things will come up in life, and then it's like, how do we manage it? And sometimes even just saying, okay, this week I may do less workouts, but I know it's just for this week. So it's just, again, like managing everything as best as possible, and then not to feel bad, and actually just use it as a bit of a rest sometimes as well. So it's like
I think it's planning, Ruchita. For me, it's particularly planning, because then I just end up overwhelming myself and thinking nothing's going to work out because I've got this to do, I have to hit this, and then I've got a social, which means I'm going to go over my calories, and then I've got another social, and you don't want to say no to friends, and that's the only thing. That's the only time where I feel, oh, it's not going to work out. Should I just pause it? But I don't get to that point. I don't pause it. I just carry on.
But I always love your planning, because every week you'll send me like your workout schedule, and like then we like plan the days. And I think that is key as well, like in anyone's journey. Even like with me, I've got to plan my week, because obviously like every week can be different. Every week is different with like socials and things. And I think when we don't plan it, that's when the overwhelm creeps up, and then we feel like a bit of a failure, like we can't do it. But actually it's quite nice having that plan, having the worst case scenario. So being like, do you know, if I don't get this workout in, I'll still feel okay. Because I think, again, like thinking we've let ourselves down, that can sometimes be tougher.
It's just the emotion, it's the guilt feeling that you haven't done it, so you feel guilty about it. But I didn't want to get into that trap where every time I feel that, oh, I'll try and postpone that workout to another day. I just want to do it because then that's
Yeah.
how I feel I've achieved it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it's always nice because then I always know you feel so much better after your
Yes.
workout as well. So it's like, if we miss it, we feel not that great kind of
Yes.
thing. And I guess you've probably actually already kind of gone through this as well, but like the main highlights of your journey or anything that, or you know how we said like you never thought you'd really be working out in a gym. So anything that you've actually just impressed yourself by a little bit maybe as well.
Right. And then you've said it, the gym is absolutely the game changer. And the fact that number one is the education. I mean, even though I'm one of the healthcare professionals that's telling someone else lose weight, I've obviously done it completely the wrong way. I've been very brutal. I've just told them, stand on the scales. I've measured the weight and I said, go and do it yourself. But I think you've educated me really. And that's the biggest game changer. You've made me more mindful. And that's not just physically, because I can see that physically, I feel really good because I'm fitting into clothes that I didn't even think I'd fit into, places where I think, and I feel confident going into shops and buying things because I know I'll fit into them. Before, I'd only go into the one shop because I knew that was the only place that would have my style of trousers or whatever, and I'd fit into them. So now that's the biggest highlight. Secondly, it's mindfulness. It's just the fact that mentally I'm so much more better from where I was to where I am now. So I think my family will thank me will thank you for doing all this for me. But I'm really, really happy. I'm much, much better. I don't feel sluggish and tired. As I said, physically, it's been really good. Mentally, that's the more important thing for us at our age, at 56. I think it's really important mentally that you're aware what's going on. And I think we go through those phases where you go down, you get slightly depressed if it is, or there's a mood change and people don't know anything about what's going on.
Yeah.
So, if you're in a healthy lifestyle, there's less of that, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. Because it also just gives you that discipline and just something to keep working towards, I think, as well. So it's just like, keeping up with everything. It's just been so nice just to, but happy for you to share everything with everyone. And would there be anything else that if there was someone listening and you thought if you had any words of wisdom to give them or anything that you just wanted to share that I may not have asked you, then it would be happy.
It's never too late. So do start a healthy lifestyle at any time of your life. I mean, it's never too late. That's really important. We say as we grow older, we're getting wiser, but that's not always the truth. But as you get older, you need to be aware of certain factors that you need to concentrate on. And I think a healthy lifestyle should be the top on your list. And if you get a very good coach, please hire one, because I've got one and it's a complete changer to my life. And that's my advice. You can't do it alone. I mean, I couldn't do it alone. I know a lot of people I've come across who couldn't do it alone either. So you need someone who is passionate, who knows about you, who will want to learn about you and then take you on this journey. But as I said, never too late, and always have a healthy lifestyle. It's really important. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Mona. That's just been so lovely. Thank you so much for your time today as well. So really, really appreciate it. And it's just been, as I said, so inspiring, so motivating to see your journey. And just to see you still be on your journey as well is so nice. That you keep smashing every single workout. And I know when I log in, I know love seeing Mona's post-workout selfies that I know you've worked out. So it's just really nice. For me.
All the compliments and all the hard work's yours, Ruchita. I'm quite a stubborn person, so you really tamed me well.
Well, I wouldn't have known that actually. So that's quite impressive. Oh, amazing. Oh, perfect. I'll just stop this, but stop recording that now. But